Jai Hind दोस्तों. Today we are going to discuss the daily news analysis of 8th of April, the Hindu newspaper. The first article is regarding the Monetary Policy Committee's report, which has been released yesterday. The RBI keeps the policy rate unchanged. From this article, there are few important points or concept we have to understand with respect to the exam point of view. The first and the foremost is the GDP. So we have to understand like what you mean by GDP in layman language. First, the GDP is nothing but it is a total market value of all the final goods and services produced in the country in a given period of time. So, in the GDP, there are different types. Like first is the nominal GDP, where it refers to the current year of production of final goods and services valued at the current year market price. So, for example, if you are valuing GDP of to 2021, then it is compared with the year 2020. So previous year it has been compared. It is known as nominal GDP. When it comes to the real GDP, the real GDP is nothing but it is a current year of production of final goods and services valued at the base year. Now currently the base year is 2012. So for example, if you're measuring the GDP of 2021, then it is compared with the uh, growth of 2012. On that basis, the percentage of GDP is measured. Next is the Monetary Policy Committee. The Monetary Policy Committee was framed in the year 2016, framed in the year 2016, recommended by the Urjit Patel Committee. Here in the Monetary Policy Committee, there are totally 6 member panels from the Government of India and 3 are from the RBI. So the tenure for the employees, tenures for the members from the Government of India are 4 years. Next, the members of the monetary policy are appointed by the RBI governor and they are not eligible for reappointment. And the monetary policy committee meet at least 4 times a year. The outcome of monetary policy committee is binding over the RBI to be applied, and also the RBI governor will be having a deciding or a casting vote in the member panel. So totally there will be a 7 member panel including RBI governor. Next is the different rates that have been mentioned in this article, that is repo rate, reverse repo rate, and bank rate. And they have also given the percentage, that is the 4%, reverse repo rate will be 3.35%, and the bank rate is 4.2%. So here the repo rate is nothing but the rate at which the RBI lends money to the bank, and it will be for a short term, like for 1 day, for 7 days, 14 or 28 days. And the reverse repo rate is nothing but it is a rate at which the RBI it is rate at which bank lends money to the RBI. It is nothing but when there is an excessive inflation or a capital in the market, then RBI tries to suck the excess capital by means of securities and all, and the rate at which they give to the bank is reverse repo rate. The next is the bank rate. The bank rate is nothing but the rate at which the RBI lends long-term loan to the commercial banks. Here, the clients are the Government of India, the state government, the banks, and other financial institutions. So these are the few important areas which will be covered from this article to the exam point of view. Next is an editorial article regarding the shortage of vaccine. Here, the article is trying to say that the vaccines, as India is a major vaccine producing nation, so it and also in the globe, India is a major exporter of vaccine. But in the recent report, that there have been a complaint from multiple states like Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh, and Andhra Pradesh regarding the shortage of vaccines. So here the author is trying to say is that first the government has to meet the need of the internal, that is they have to meet the need of vaccination of Indians, then they have to think of exporting the vaccines outside the India. This is the overall view of this article. It is not important with respect to the exam point of view, but with a knowledge and up to date information, it has to be known like what is the current status regarding the vaccination. Next is regarding the carbon neutrality. Here, the article is trying to say regarding the climate change effects and temperature rise and pledges from the Paris climate summits and all. Here, the important point is first we must try to understand what is carbon neutrality. The carbon neutrality is nothing but it is having a balance between emitting a carbon and absorbing the carbon from the atmosphere. It is nothing but, in a simple way, that is what carbon is emitting, it has to be absorbed completely, so the net emission of the carbon will be zero. And also, along with that, a carbon sequestration is also an important concept, where the carbon dioxide is removed from the atmosphere artificially or naturally, and then storing it. For example of the like storing of carbon dioxide naturally is like forest, planting of trees and all, and artificially means capturing the carbon dioxide and storing it under the like oceans or any coal mines and all. So here, the author is trying to stress is that India has uh, to not agree with the carbon neutrality, because as India is a developing country, it has to meet a very important needs like poverty elimination, malnutrition challenges, and also multiple like infrastructure challenges and all. So in order to meet these important priorities, India should not shift its priority to the carbon neutrality. Overall, that may hamper the India's development in coming year. Along with that, the author is trying to say that India has to simultaneously adopt the policies that has to be uh, in line with the sustainable development goal of 2030, and also has to adopt energy efficient policies and also energy efficient goods. This is a overall like you can get from this article. Next is the Lok Adalat. Here the basic um, idea what you have to get is what is Lok Adalat, what are its jurisdiction, what are its power. First, the Lok Adalat is nothing but it is a people's court. It is based on the Gandhian's principle. It is one of the component of alternative dispute resolution. That is, it delivers informal, cheap as well as expeditious justice to the common people. The first Lok Adalat was organized in Gujarat in the year 1982. It is as a volunteer and conciliatory agency without any statutory backing. But recently, the government has given its statutory status under the Legal Service Authority Act 1987, and the act makes the provision relating to the organization and functioning of the Lok Adalat. The National Legal Service Authority and also other legal service institution conducts the Lok Adalat. Here, the Lok Adalat shall have a jurisdiction to determine and to arrive at a compromise or a settlement between the parties to the dispute in respect of any case pending before any court, or any matter which is falling within the jurisdiction of any court and is not brought before such court. Any case pending before the court can also be referred to the Lok Adalat for the settlement. Also, the Lok Adalat shall have no jurisdiction in respect of any cases or matter relating to the offence not compoundable under any law. In other words, the offences which are not compoundable under any law falls outside the preview of Lok Adalat. Also, the Lok Adalat has a power same as that of civil court under the Code of Civil Procedure Act. Further, the Lok Adalat shall have a requisite power to specify its own procedure for the determination of any dispute coming before it. And it is also deemed to be a judicial proceeding within the meaning of Indian Penal Code. An award of the Lok Adalat shall be deemed to be a decree, uh, shall be deemed to be a judgment of civil court or any other court. So every award made by the Lok Adalat shall be final and binding on all parties of the dispute. No appeal lies to any court against the award of the Lok Adalat. Overall, from this, the benefits of the Lok Adalat is there is no court fee. If court fee is already paid, then the amount will be refunded. There is a procedural flexibility and speedy trial of dispute, and there is no strict application of procedural laws while accessing the claims of the Lok Adalat. Also, the Lok Adalat directly interacts with the judge through their counsel, which is not possible in the regular court. Here, the Lok Adalat will be headed by the retired judges, the advocates, and all. So, this is the overall information regarding the Lok Adalat, which will be helpful while solving MCQs regarding Lok Adalat. The next article is regarding the incentives for the solar energy. The article is not so important, but the word, that is the white good, here is important when it comes to the exam point of view. Here, the consumer consumers durable segments, that is consumer goods are divided based on their different colors, like white goods, which is mentioned in this article, the brown goods, and consumer electronics. Here the white goods are nothing but it is an air conditioners, refrigerators, washing machine, sewing machine, watches, clocks, and other equipments. When it comes to the brown good, it is nothing but micro oven, cooking range, chimney, mixer, grinder, and all. And consumer electronics are nothing but TV, audio and video system, electronic access, mobile, PC, digital cameras, and all. Here, the white goods are nothing but it is an heavy consumer durables such as air conditioners, as I have mentioned, which used to be painted only in the white, despite their availability in the varied color now. There are still they are still called as white goods. Also, the household goods as bedsheet, tablecloth, and towels, formerly bleached and finished in white, but now often pattern and colors also. Similarly, the brown goods, that is relatively light electronic consumer durables such as TV, radio, digitals, and all comparatively will be um, distinct from the heavy goods durables such as air conditioners, refrigerators, and stoves. So first you have to understand, like from this article, what is the difference between white good and brown good, and just try to identify which are the goods which are white, called as white goods, and brown goods. Commonly, just in common layman language, just imagine like in previously in initial days, all the white goods like air conditioning, washing machines, and sewing machine will be in white in color, so they are termed as white goods. And when it comes to the like television, audio, and video player, they are all in dark color, that so they are called as brown goods. This is a simple way to identify and differentiate what is white and brown good. The next article is it is a map based question where um, in the newspaper they have mentioned regarding have an information regarding Red Sea. So we will try to see what are the neighboring countries uh, which are surrounded by the Red Sea. So on the east side, it is covered with Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, Israel on the north, and on the west side, Egypt, Sudan, Eritrea, and Djibouti. So these are the important countries which are surrounding the Red Sea. So in order to remember it, you remember a code name called as DESY, that is DESSEY. D stands for Djibouti, E stands for Eritrea, S stands for Saudi Arabia, S stands for Sudan, and lastly E stands for Egypt. DESSEY, DESSEY. In this way, you can remember the countries which are surrounding Red Sea. In a similar way, in the coming lecture, daily we will solve one map-based question which will be helpful to solve in examination. And also, stay tuned. Thank you.
जोश है हम में जान है और उमंगे है दिल में जवान, क्या कहे तुमसे दोस्तों कि अब तो जाना है हमको कहाँ, मैं उनको